Hi, Caspar, on the 21st of December 2021, and we're in Spain here. We've got northern Spanish red wine, so we're right up in the Pyrenees. This is 2014, a wine called Thalarn from a company called Castell. So fascinating wine, really. It's made out of Syrah. It's 100% Syrah or Shiraz, and they ferment the wine in various vessels, so in some oak barrels, but also in stone lagars. And I believe these are very ancient fermentation vessels, basically kind of carved out of the local rock, and also been in stainless steel. We offered this, gosh, I can't remember, 3 or 4 years ago. It's very deep in colour, as you'd expect with Syrah. Really, it's pretty much opaque at the centre, but you know, there's good colour there. It doesn't look really inky. It doesn't look sort of thick and soupy. It's beginning to show a fraction of age at the rim. It's just a little bit garnet at the narrow band at the rim. But let's have a smell. See what it smells like. First of all, there is something natural about this wine, and that can sort of go one or two ways. It can be natural in terms of, you know, it's really grubby and affected by Brettanomyces, giving it a really horsey sort of horsiness. And if there is Brett in here, there's an absolute fraction. But what really comes across is this really exuberant, fresh, natural seeming fruit. It has a wonderful transparency and credibility. It's lovely. So it's crunchy. It's on dark fruit. It's on dark plum. It's got a bit of sort of almost sour black cherry, but it smells incredibly healthful, fresh and elegant, even a bit floral. It's a wonderfully relaxed nose, and yet it's full of vim and vigor and freshness. There's a hint of bramble in there as well. Perhaps a little bit of volatility, but it's not dominant enough to really bother the drinker. It's a delicious nose. It makes you feel like this is a wine that's gonna give you joy, give you life, and cheer you up. Well, the palate really reinforces what we've observed on the nose. It's a wine that feels really unmessed about with. It's got a very relaxed feeling to it, a natural feeling. It's got this lovely, energetic, crunchy, sort of dew fresh fruit, sort of picked at dawn. This black fruit of plum, cherry mix, a bit of spice to it as well. And the tannins are there that have pretty much melted away, but they give a fraction of piquancy within the palate, which is very long. It's got super length on it. It's got a faint whiff of something which I find on Syrah, and in fact I once went to a vertical tasting of Hermitage La Chapelle and noticed a smell, and it's a kind of a slightly BO smell, which sounds just utterly awful, but it's a faint hint of it here, and I think it's Syrah develops this. I don't know whether it's probably a slightly reductive aroma, and reduction is something that Syrah and several other grapes, Malbec and one or two others, particularly suffer from. This has been decanted. It's been in a decanter for about an hour or so. Ooh. It's got a lovely, cool, airy quality that speaks of sort of high altitude, I think, vineyards, and within there's a little bit of mineral, sort of fresh acidity. Acidity is really nice. I mean, the whole thing comes across as snappy and refreshing, and you know, probably want to serve this on the cool side. As I say, it's got an airiness and an elegance to it, which really would outshine a lot of those Northern Rhone Syrahs. Actually, it's very light on its feet. It's a wine of delicate authority, shall we say? Mm. Within that lovely dark fruit, there's a little sort of ashy, cindery thing. Lovely length. The texture throughout is absolutely superb. The finish, lovely, and then pitches up into a almost slightly pithy finish, which just leaves the mouth clean and ready for another sip. It's very delicious. It's a wine of a lovely, lovely example of Syrah, I've got to say. In a blind tasting, I don't think anyone would probably be anywhere close to this. But and that juicy, that dew fresh thing goes on, and the flavour you're left with in the mouth is this just picked cool fruit. The whole thing's cool and elegant. It's lovely. It's, I think it's just what is it? It's just 13%. Fabulous thing. I'm really enjoying it. I've got to say that's been 2014 Thalarn from the Castell, and if you didn't buy it, it's such a shame because you would now be drinking it with enormous pleasure. It's lovely.